All right, ladies and gentlemen. Everything seems to be in order. Let me just double check and make sure I don't have any voice mods on by mistake. I do not. We are good. There's good lighting in the room. Everything is set. So, from now on, I'm going to keep the camera right here, but I'm going to slide off to the side so that way I can have, most of my background. So, just in case I have to get up, you guys can see me because I know I tend to have the screen switched over right here so the chat can have its own special space along my wall, but when I get up you can't really see me all that much unless I have to bend down forward. So from here on in, I'm gonna have the camera like this, but I'll be leaned off to the side so that way you guys are able to have your own little space, but once I get up, I can turn a chair around and you guys can see me walking back and forth just in case this chapter makes me get up. But enough of the formalities. Yo, peoples! Cute Shoe 92 here. It's good to be here on this 4th of July for all you Americans out there, since we are the only ones who celebrate it. Happy 4th of July, everyone. Just remain safe if you tend to go out. If you happen to go out and enjoy yourself or do whatever it is you do here in America, just be safe when you do it. I know a lot of people like to set off fireworks and everything. Just be careful with those, because you never know if you're going to get any fireworks from down south, and I hear those are literally the missiles of the lower half of the US, so you got to be careful with those. If you're going to have partying or doing anything like that, just be careful. For everyone else around the world, hope you're having a fantastic day today. So, let's see if this chapter has fully loaded up. Now, I have a white shirt on. I had a red overshirt on over this because, colors for the band and choir members at church was red, white, and blue. So I had that on, but just having all of that on was just going to be a little bit too hot for me. So I just had to take that off and just get my weight back on. So Viz does not have chapter 1018 up. Let's check Manga Plus real quick and see if we can have it appear up there. And then, yeah, it always has these chapters flipped around. Ah, here we go. Chapter 1018. Let me refresh Viz. It's still not up, but Manga Plus has it. Alright, we're gonna read from Manga Plus. So, last we left off, Jinbei was facing off against Who's Who, and he kind of dropped the fact that Who's Who used to be a CP9 agent, which he himself said that other people said that he has the same potential as Rob Lucci. But not only was he a CP9 agent, but due to an event that happened 12 years ago, and finding out that Luffy had the Gum Gum Fruit, we come to find out that he was the CP9 agent in charge of guarding the escort. He was not guarding the escort, he was the escort. He was in charge of safeguarding the Gum Gum Fruit itself that the world government, now mind you, it says the world government, not the Marines, but the world government was transporting the Gum Gum Fruit to a location. And because that fruit was stolen, Who's Who was, dismissed from CP9 and imprisoned. Most likely in Impel Down because of, his combat potential. So obviously he had to have been placed in Impel Down. But I'm just saying, to the machinations of Blackbeard, when he pretty much started an entire prison break, finding his own crew members down there, Who's Who might have been one of the many individuals that was set free. So hopefully we get to find out more about why the world government was transporting the Gum Gum Fruit of all fruits. Now, I understand Logius. I understand the Op fruit itself. It's the fruit called the Ultimate Devil Fruit that can grant eternal life. And I can even understand mythical Zoans, because those are the most rare devil fruits in the One Piece world. But the Gum Gum Fruit? So much confusion. I don't understand why they would be transporting that fruit of all fruits. Viz has it, so now that I'm done with my synopsis, I can read from them. That was a good segue. But here we are with chapter 1018. Welcome everyone who has shown up. Hope you enjoy yourself while you're here. I don't have the chat window in my view because I just want to read through this chapter and then I'll read through what you guys have said as this reaction goes. Chapter 1018, Jinbei versus Who's Who. I am so glad we are actually getting chapters dedicated to another Straw Hat taking out or fighting a Tobiroppo member. Ulti's out, and so is Page One. Page One got bodied by Big Mom. Ulti was taken out by Nami using Zeus, who is now a permanent part of her climate baton. So those are 2 Tobiroppos down. Drake is no longer part of the Tobiroppo, so we don't need to worry about him. But we still have Sasaki, Black Maria, and Who's Who. And I believe that's all of them that are left. Sasaki, who's facing off against Frankie. Black Maria, who's facing off against Brooke and Robin. And we have Who's Who, who's facing off against Jinbei here. But I'm just so glad that we're getting chapters dedicated to the Straw Hats fighting these people, because the longer we go without them defeating them is going to mean more chapters are going to be dedicated to going back to them rather than focusing on pushing the narrative a little bit more. But let's get to it. Jinbei versus Who's Who. Inside the castle, and also remember the gifters that are under the control of Tama are just running rampant, taking out all the beast pirates that they can. Inside the castle, the headliners and gifters have joined the samurai army, about 300 of them. It all happened after a girl appeared on the performance stage and gave them an order to switch sides. I believe she has some kind of power over them. It's that kid. She used some kind of weird magic. Will it come undone if we kill her? Because some beast pirates are in the sights, have the sights of Nami and Usopp and Tama as they're running away, because they immediately started running away when Queen tried to fire his black coffee bean before Sanji stepped in and faced off against Queen. We got Sanji facing off against Queen right now. Oh no, they're targeting Tama! Scorpion Death Needle! And we have Daifugo coming in, and he takes out the beast pirates that are chasing Nami and company here. Master Daifugo? Oh, hi, Daifugo! And then Daifugo just gives Tama the thumbs up like, you go on ahead, I got this. And then someone says, hey, hop on. Oh, wait, it's Lady Speed. Hey, hop on. Horselina! It was a great success. You did great, Master. And then here's the thing. Nami and Tama are on speed, but Usopp is doing his best to try to keep up. Hey, any extra room for me? Oh, Master, I noticed something. Komachio was knocked out back there. Oh, wait, that's Gazelle Man saying this. Oh, Master, I noticed something. Komachio was knocked out back there. You must be worried, right? Let us take care of it. You will? Gee, thanks, says Tama. And then Nami is saying, that really is a remarkable power. And then Usopp, who managed to get on speed at the last minute, breathing heavily, says, yeah, you don't usually make friends on a battlefield. And then we have Zeus coming in saying, hey, Nami, can I be your servant like before? What do you mean? Absolutely not. Oh. But what do you say to sidekick? Nami! So now Nami has an official sidekick, not a servant. Because that whole idea is out the window. But sidekick sounds better. Out of the way, losers! I'm Nami's sidekick! And he turns into a thundercloud and just starts zapping everyone in front of Nami and everybody else. He just turned into a thundercloud and just... I really need to shave the sides of my mustache. I don't like it when the side of my mustache goes into my mouth. That is uncomfortable. I gotta take care of that once I'm done with this stream. Ugh. But he zaps everyone in front of Lady Speed and everyone else to clear a way for him. And everyone's screaming out in pain because, you know, electrocution. Yeah! You picked up something remarkable too, I gotta say. And then we have more samurai, and we have more beast pirates fighting. Join the samurai! Strike down Kaido! Hey, have you guys gone insane? Some of the headliners' followers are joining them. There are roughly 1,000 of them, and in the surprise of the betrayal, they've managed to take out about 1,000 of ours. So, with the people that defected away from Queen and the gifters that are fighting alongside the samurai right now, they've already taken out about 1,000 other beast pirates right now. And here we have a full window of a full panel of CP0. And they're just chilling while they're listening to one of the Marys relaying all this information. Meaning the animal... Oh, let me just read this again. They've managed to take out about 1,000 of ours! And then one of the Marys playing a shamisen or a biwa, she says, meaning the Animal Kingdom pirates started with 30,000 and have dropped to 20,000. When you add 1,000 traders and casualties each, that number drops even further. It's 16 versus 9,000, and white may grow further depending on the gifter's efforts. Oh wait, this is CP0 speaking. When you add 1,000 traders and casualties each, that number drops even further. It's 16,000 versus 9,000. And white may grow further depending on the gifter's efforts. And then the one CP0 member, the super tall one that holds a mask up to his face, says, whichever side wins does not matter to us, but there is one death we must confirm before this is over. I'm sorry? Okay, one is in bold, typed in bold here. They are not leaving until they confirm the death of one person? Whichever side wins does not matter to us, but there is one death we must confirm before this is over. And then another member with the hunchback says, are you sure it's him? That classified intelligence he ran off with was old, and there's no real harm to the government. What are they talking about? And then the guy with the mask says, it doesn't set good precedents that you can escape from us and live to tell the tale. Assuming he survives this, of course. He is fighting Jinbei after all. Yo! What information does Who's Who have that CP0 needs to ensure that he dies? What does he know? What does Who's Who know that out of all the people who are here right now, Yonkos, Straw Hats, Worst Generation, everyone, they want to confirm the death of Who's Who. I mean, granted, he was a former world government agent, so he'll know secrets, but seriously, it doesn't set good precedent that you can escape from us and live to tell the tale. Assuming he survives this, of course. He is fighting Jinbei after all. And then on the 4th floor, look out, stay back! Who's Who is going all out! And then Who's Who, in his hybrid form, uses Moonwalk. And then Jinbei says, so are you saying you bear a grudge against Luffy? And Jinbei is kind of wheezing a little bit. He's getting tired from this fight. Then Who's Who says, technically my grudge is against the man who stole the Gum Gum fruit from us. It's confirmed it's Shanks! It is confirmed that Shanks was the one who took the Gum Gum fruit from them, not some other party, and then Shanks took it from them. We have confirmation. The red hair pirates stole the Gum Gum fruit from the world government. Bruh! Technically, my grudge is against the man who stole the Gum Gum fruit from us, Red Hair Shanks. And then he uses Fang Pistol again, and Jinbei blocks it with Haki, but apparently it's not strong enough, or at least his Haki's wearing out, because he actually draws blood. It actually draws blood, even despite Jinbei using Haki here. And this surprises Jinbei that his Haki is not holding up as it did at the beginning of this fight. And then he continues saying, but both the straw hat he wore at the time and the Gum Gum fruit were things the boy inherited from him. Of course he'll be the target of my rage. And he just sends fang pistols all over the place where Jinbei is. But Jinbei, just disappears from sight. Jinbei, he may be big, but he fast, and he just dodges it. Below, 3rd floor, so Who's Who is shooting all these fang pistols down towards Jinbei, and Jinbei's dodging all of them, but they're boring holes into the floor, and they're hitting random beast pirates who are underneath them. Something's coming through the ceiling! Ah, my arm! Is that Who's Who's fang pistol? Back up to the 4th floor. Dude literally lost an arm because that's how sharp Who's Who's fang pistols are. It literally took a guy's arm off. So even your color of armament can't stop them. You made the right decision to dodge. Your typical armament Haki won't stop these fangs from tearing you apart. Though I'm surprised to see how quickly you can move on land, Jinbei. For a fish man. Let me say that again. Though I'm surprised to see how quickly you can move on land, Jinbei.
for a fish man. And then Jinbei says, I don't believe this. Don't you know casual racism against fishmen is out of style these days? Jinbei, we need you in my world. Please, instruct these ignorant folks who seem to think that that's okay still today. And then Who's Who crouches down saying, sorry about that. Anyway, there's something I wanted to ask you. Iron Body. And he launches at Jinbei while making his body hard. And Jinbei braces up with Haki as best as he can as Who's Who launches at him with Fang Flash and tries to bite down on Jinbei. And the force of it causes a massive shockwave. And Jinbei, being, not only does Who's Who use Iron Body, but he uses Haki on his teeth, like his saber-toothed tiger teeth. He tries to bite down on Jinbei, but it doesn't work. And Jinbei, in the perfect position, uses Fishman Jujitsu. Low tide shoulder throw. And he basically just throws Who's Who directly over him. And this hurts Who's Who because Who's Who is bleeding from the mouth. And then Jinbei gathers water in his hands, like ambient moisture with Uchimizu! Water shot! And then Who's Who sees this and uses shave before Jinbei can hit him. Then Who's Who gets up. That hurt. I wanted to ask you about a story I heard in jail from a guard. While I was there, undergoing terrible torments, he laughed and told me to pray. Who's he talking about? Apparently, there was a figure that slaves would pray to in the long-distant past. A legendary warrior they believed would one day free them. The sun god Nika. Did he exist, or did they dream him up? They thought he'd bring smiles to their faces and deliver them from suffering. And then Jinbei sees as Who's Who tries to launch at him. As Who's Who continues. My time in prison felt so endless, I actually clung to that strange legend of theirs. Save me, I thought. Someone, anyone. And then Jinbei says, why would you ask me about this? And then Who's Who says, because you led the Sun Pirates. I heard there were former slaves in that crew. And what is Fishman history but the history of slavery? And then Who's Who actually uses Haki on his finger and actually uses finger pistol on Jinbei. And uses spots. What is it called? Shigan Madara? He uses finger pistol spots. The same move that Rob Lucci tried to use on Luffy, but, finger pistol multiple locations at rapid succession. And Jinbei Haki's all over his body as he tries to withstand this attack. And we have Beast Pirates commenting on all of this. And we hear them saying, whoa, check it out! Master Who's Who is jabbing this guy out! Get him, boss! I can't believe it! Our Toby Roppo is even stronger than a former warlord! And Jinbei, who has hockeyed his entire body, face, and everything. He just hockeyed all up. And Who's Who continues. And that prison guard who told me the story of Nika, they disappeared. They disappeared him. They disappeared him days later? They disappeared him. And the prison guard who told me the story of Nika, they disappeared him days later. I started thinking I was in danger too, so I risked it all to escape, and here I am today. Is it deadly to even know about the legend? Fascinating, isn't it? So tell me everything you know. And then, he's still trying to jab at Jinbei with his finger pistol spots until his finger actually breaks. So apparently it's not enough to break through Jinbei's Haki. Because mind you, Who's Who is using Haki right here as well. But apparently Jinbei's defenses last longer, and Who's Who actually breaks one of his index fingers trying to constantly jab at Jinbei. It's not enough, and Who's Who, not just both of his fingers. Never mind, I'm looking at this full panel now. Both of his fingers are broke. Both his fingers he uses for finger pistols have been broken by Jinbei. And then Then as Who's Who is reeling back, Jinbei grabs his hand. Fishman karate. Shark grip! And I guess he breaks. Did he break? Did he break Who's Who's wrists? Because Who's Who screams out in pain, and there's this sound effect that's just like crack and crunch. And Jinbei says, I have nothing to say to the likes of you. And all the Beast Pirates are saying, Who's Who? And I guess Who's Who tries to kick Jinbei in the face. And Who's Who reels back and causes his saber-toothed teeth to grow longer and says, here comes your puncture wound, fine pistol. And he tries to bite down on Jinbei, but it doesn't work. It doesn't work on him. Because Who says, huh? And then Jinbei says, Fishman karate. Secret art. And then Who's Who says, crap, he just snapped all of a sudden. And then he tries to jump away, but Jinbei is standing on Who's Who's tail. Hey, you're on my tail! And then it shows a panel showing Jinbei's fist directly in front of Who's Who's saying, if you're going to run your mouth about history. And he hits Who's Who with a brand new move called Demon Brick Fist. Be ready for what you're stepping into first. And Who's Who just screams out. And I think Jinbei broke the entire environment around them as well, as Who's Who screams out in pain. And all the other people say, ah, Master Who's Who. And the last panel we see is just Jinbei standing there with a doo-doom effect over his eyes. That's the end of chapter 1018, ladies and gentlemen. Only 2 Tobiropo left. Jinbei just bodied this man. Okay, so we got a lot of things to talk about in this chapter. And I want to find out what the description of Demon Fist is. Let me look up Fishman Karate. Let me look up Fishman Karate, and let me bring up the chat window so I can see what you guys have said. But it looks like we got a break as well, because the next chapter doesn't drop until the 18th. So we don't have a My Hero Academia chapter that comes back next week. So next week, we won't have a One Piece chapter, and that won't come back until the week after next. So we're going out of break here. Alright, so let's see. Luigi, Dantes, Kato, Zombie Core, not Mitchell, Kohagen, CJ, Karma. Good to see everyone here. Jinbei just bodied this man with Demon Brick Fist. I need to know what Demon Brick Fist is. Please, please tell me. Explain to me what Demon Brick Fist is. Ah, they don't have it up yet. Demon Brick Fist. What is that move? Okay, so we already know about the Karak Sagawara Seiken, which is a arabesque brick fist. We know about the Gosein Maigara Seiken. We know that as a 5,000 brick fist. But they don't have the Demon Brick Fist up here yet. But it literally broke Who's Who all the way down. And if I go back to this panel, he hits Who's Who with this attack point blank and using Haki. So here's the thing. Fishman Karate is deadly, but using Fishman Karate and Haki together, that has to be like a deadly combination. And he calls this Fishman Karate secret art. So if I go over here, Fishman Karate Secret Technique Mighty Reliant Piercing. That says Gyojin Karate Yogi Baraikan. So this might be another secret art, just like Vagabond Drill was. And Vagabond Drill is a move that he used on Waratsumi's giant form way back in the Fishman Island arc. That's the first time we saw one of the secret arts, one of the secret techniques. So this one is another one.
So if we know brick fist is already a powerful technique when someone gets hit by it. Man, they don't have it up yet. I really want to find out the description of what Demon Brick Fist is, but let me go back to chat here. All right, so the big thing about this, I see at least 2 new named attacks for an upcoming One Piece Pirate Warriors game or another Burning Blood game. Oda dropping the name Sun God Nika makes me think of Joy Boy. It's going to be a different name, different person. We do not need another Burning Blood game. Ha! Let me see. Got used to 3 chapters continuously. I know, maybe it would take long, but Oda should have given more fights a whole chapter because the way he gets fights done, because that way he gets fights done quickly. Okay, here's the thing. I am glad that we have another Toby Roppo that has been fully taken out, because now the only ones that are left is Sasaki and Black Maria. Those are the only ones that are left. So as soon as we get them taken care of, then we don't need to worry about chapters going back trying to find out, okay, who's okay and who's still fighting. That's just one less loose end we have to worry about. So that's cleared. Who has been taken out. But CP0, let's just talk about this for a little bit. As we see the gifters that have joined with Tama, they're already going around taking out Beast Pirate members, and Zeus is the sidekick of Nami right now. Not the servant, but the sidekick of Nami. And we have all the gifters helping them out, adding on to the already boosted numbers of the samurai right now. CP0 is just looking on all of this. They do not care. They don't care. They don't care about what's going on with the samurai. They really don't. They do not care. Oh, hold on, let me see what you said. By the way, I kind of miss when you reacted interactively to One Piece. What you mean interactively? Do you mean like when I did videos? Or do you mean like when I'm talking, or do you mean when I'm talking to chat while I'm reading? I mean, I kind of don't, the reason why I don't read chat, if that's what you mean, then the reason why I don't read chat while I'm reading this, while I'm reading the chapter itself, is because I don't want to run the risk of someone just popping in the chat and then just talking about spoilers or reading ahead of me and then speaking it into the chat before I even get to it. That's if that's what you mean by interactively, like talking to you guys while I'm reading the chapter, it's because of that reason. If that's what you mean, Cohagen. No, when you're talking to chat while reading. Oh, yeah. All right. Well, then I already covered that basis. I don't want to read spoilers while I'm reading the chapter itself, because my eyes will dart over there real quick and I could see something and I'll try to forget it, but my brain will process the words that I see and then it'll be stuck in my head forever. And then it'd be like the moment where Odin showed up. Someone said Odin in the chat and I had to dart away from it real quick, but right before I even got to the page. So I kind of don't read chat until I'm done reading the chapter, because people will read ahead of me and they'll say stuff, and I'm trying to be careful about not being spoiled on this, because I want to get all my reactions out, and then we talk about it afterwards. That's how I do it. But the thing about CP0 is they do not care about anything else going on. They just care about killing who's who. The one person that they've come there to make sure and ensure the death of is who's who. And they know that who's who is fighting Jinbei. They couldn't care less about the samurai gaining a foothold and defeating more members of the Beast Pirates. They only care about taking out who's who and ensuring that he dies. That's it. And if I go back through there, he starts talking about this story. Well, first of all, he pretty much just confirms that Shanks and his crew were the ones that stole the Gum Gum fruit from the world government. So it just confirms it. There wasn't, like I said, there wasn't some absentee party that was there. It wasn't some other pirates and then Shanks stole it from them. No, Shanks and the red-haired pirates just straight up stole the Gum Gum fruit from the world government. And it still makes me wonder why was the world government transporting the Gum Gum fruit of all fruits. It just makes me more curious. But we also find out another thing about this something else that happened in Impel Down was the fact that he was talking about this story. He said, I heard about his story in jail from a guard. While I was there undergoing terrible torments, he laughed and told me to pray. Apparently, there was a figure that slaves would pray to in the long distant past. A legendary warrior they believe would one day free them, the sun god Nika. Did he exist or did they dream him up? They thought he'd bring smiles to their faces and deliver them from suffering. Now, seeing this image here, this image that it has, it's like a almost simple rudimentary silhouette picture, like a stick figure almost, of this dude in, I guess, tribal clothes with a sword in his hand and a spear in his hand. And I'm trying to look at his hair and see how his hair looks. Because what if the long distant past is someone that is, like from the Void Century that people would talk about in the he said long distant past, so you could count the Void Century in there somewhere as a person that would come back and free the slaves. And seeing as how the world government is going out of their way to try and kill who's who right now, there might be more to this story than it just being some old folk tale. And Who's Who is trying to press Jinbei for information to try and find out more about it, saying that, because you led the Sun Pirates, I heard there were former slaves in that crew, and what is Fishman's history but the history of slavery? And as he's trying to, skewer Jinbei, his fingers break, and then Jinbei breaks his fingers, breaks his entire wrists, and says, I have nothing left to say to the likes of you. If you're going to run your mouth about history, be ready for what you're stepping into first. And then he just bodies Who's Who with Demon Brickfist. So there has to be more to the story about this sun god Nika. There has to be more to it. Can't forget about Brooke, but Robin is finally getting a real fight. We're going to see how powerful she is. Black Maria is strong, of course. Yes, she is, but I'm wondering, Sun Nika may be another name for Joy Boy. Happy 4th. Nice spirit too. Well, thank you, Don Tease. It's getting kind of thick. I need to shave off my mustache because I really don't like the hair curling back into my mouth. It's distracting. The real question is, why did Shanks even steal the fruit, since we all think he has a fruitless crew? That's the thing! So far, every member of Shanks' crew don't have any devil fruits. And I highly doubt that they took the gum fruit itself. And I highly doubt the gum fruit itself is something that he would just randomly add on to his crew. I doubt it. There has to be some other reason for the gum fruit being taken. Either he knows something that the world government knows as well about the fruit, or he knows something about the gum fruit itself that he doesn't want to see it in the hands of the world government. What if Who's Who will join Straw Hats when he will learn about Luffy being Joy Boy's sun god Nika? That is not going to happen. It's not. Who's Who is... What? Who's Who joining the Straw Hats? Yamato is looking to join the Straw Hats, and she has a 100% chance of being able to join over Who's Who. Like the most randomest dude. And did you forget? CP0 is going to make sure that he dies. The CP0 agents are going to kill Who's Who. So, Who's Who joining the Straw Hats? That is the most ridiculous thing I ever heard. Sun God Nika may be another name for Joy Boy. Unsurprising, and seeing as how it's a name from a long distance past, it's like from a long distance past tale from way back when. I wouldn't be surprised if Joy Boy is who they're talking about. I wouldn't be surprised. But, given the fact that Shanks' crew don't have any Devil Fruit users in them, it just makes me think that Shanks knew. Shanks had to know. Shanks does not do anything randomly. Maybe he will not die. He's gonna die. CP0 is gonna make sure of it. Because Who's Who really doesn't have any relevance to the story other than what he's telling Jinbei and, progressing Jinbei to become even stronger. Maybe Luffy will save him? No, it's not gonna happen. I think they don't want to eat Devil Fruits because all their power is Haki, but maybe Shanks will give it to someone to test how powerful this gum fruit is. Maybe Mr. DJ, or maybe like I've been saying, ever since we found out that the world government was even transporting the fruit in the first place, maybe there's something about the gum fruit that the world government knows, but Luffy doesn't know, and Shanks found out, and that's why he took it from the world government, so the world government wouldn't have an extra powerhouse power in their repertoire. They already got multiple Logia users. They already got powerful soldiers and hockey users and devil fruit users all in the Marines already. Shanks probably saw this gum gum fruit as, you know what, if the pirates had this, or if I could take this from the world government, it may turn the tide of the three great powers of the world. Well, you might as well count them as two now, since the warlords have been completely abolished and disbanded. So I wouldn't be surprised if Shanks saw the potential that it could be in shifting the position of power throughout the world. If pirates were to be able to have their hands, or someone other than the world government were to get their hands on the gum gum fruit. Now, I'm pretty sure he did not count on Luffy eating the fruit. He probably had some other ideas in mind, and Luffy was just there at the wrong place, wrong time, and just ate it. Possibly. That's what I feel. But I highly doubt that he would just randomly have stolen the fruit from the world government just on a whim or just to sell it. Shanks never does anything without reason. He's one of the smartest people in One Piece. He knows exactly what he's doing. So him stealing the gum gum fruit, it was not a passing fancy. I would be surprised if Oda says, you know what, Shanks just felt like stealing from them, and that's the reason why he took the fruit. I'd be surprised if Oda said that. But as of right now, I feel for a fact that Shanks knew what he was doing. He knew exactly what he was stealing and what it could do to the world if the world government didn't get their hands on it and someone else outside of the world government did. The other question is, who is the previous owner of the gum gum fruit? Someone in Void Century? It might not be Joy Boy, of course. That's a good question. It's a good question to find out. Like, we've heard about previous users of powerful devil fruits, like the previous user of the Op fruit, Law's Ope Ope no Mi. We know that the previous user to that fruit performed miracles and medicine so extravagant that it caused the fruit itself to be called the ultimate devil fruit. And then we know of special procedure that allows a person to have eternal youth and eternal life after it's performed on them. So the thing is, that's just another user that I'd love to see find out, like, the history of, like, this person who performed this because here's the thing, how else would people know that the Ope Ope no Mi can grant eternal youth if it wasn't used before? And the question is, who was the eternal youth procedure used on for people to know of this power? And how is it that people know that if the user of the Ope Ope no Mi performs the eternal youth procedure, then they die? How else would people know about that power if it hasn't been done before? So here's the thing, if the previous user of the gum gum fruit doesn't, here's the thing, everything we know of the, I know I keep saying here's the thing, but everything we know of the gum gum fruit right now is purely based off of Luffy's use and experience with it. Everything we've seen of the gum gum fruit has been things that Luffy has made up, but we don't know its capabilities of someone other than Luffy beforehand. Because all devil fruits had users beforehand. All of them. Had to. I feel like very, very difficult fruits to come across. They probably may not have had people to get their hands on them, and some people may be the first users. Like, I don't know if someone had the fish fruit before Kaido. It's hard to gauge whether people had previous users or not. But if the gum gum fruit had a previous user, it just begs the question, what was the previous user of the gum gum fruit using the fruit for? Luffy uses it for combat purposes. He's developed gear 2nd, 3rd, and 4th with the gum gum fruit. But those are techniques he came up with on his own, learning how to use both the gum gum fruit's special properties to his body to enhance his speed, and using haki to enhance just how powerful his attacks are with the gum gum fruit. But what would a previous user of the gum gum fruit use the fruit for if they don't think like Luffy? It just opens up a whole can of worm of questions when you think about it. The world government really sucks at getting devil fruits. They really do. The gum gum fruit has to have something like the eternal youth ability. It has to have some sort of substantial ability for the world government to go out of their way to transport it and get a member of their literal FBI agents. Their top agents. Cypher Pol is their top agents the world government goes to take care of the most dangerous, most substantial jobs. So the Gum Gum fruit has to have some other power other than just causing a person to be like rubber and stretch and inflate and, do all sorts of things that deal with elasticity and malleability. Why else would the world government go out of their way to get their top agents to guard it? Because if it was just something random, it was just something run-of-the-mill, they wouldn't have Cypherpol guarding it. They wouldn't. You don't call Cypherpol unless it's something of great value to the world government that want to get their hands on. Like getting their hands on Nico Robin, or getting their hands on the blueprints of Pluton. Or finding out if someone knows something about the Void Century, or knows how to read poneglyphs, or finds out anything that the world government considers taboo, they bring up CP0. CP, any number, really. They bring up Cypherpol. So for the Gum Gum fruit to have a Cypherpol escort, it has to have something other than just stretching ability. It has to have a secondary ability along with it. Or something so substantial that the world government sees as something they need to get their hands on. We need our top agents to guard this. And for Shanks to come along and take that fruit, and for the world government to respond to Who's Who by imprisoning him in jail, with the intent of never letting him out. And then when he escapes, Cypherpol goes out of their way to find him and ensure that out of all the deaths that are happening on Onigashima right now, they could care less about how many people died. They just want to make sure and confirm the death of Who's Who himself. Not just because he let the Gum Gum fruit go all those years ago, but also because he has information about the sun god Nika. And I feel like Sun God Nika is another subject matter that may be taboo to anyone within the world government, and they don't want average people trying to find out as well. So this could be one of those moments. You know how Rox would delve. You know how the story said that Rox would delve into subject matter that was considered taboo by the world government, and everything he did was just wiped from the history books and no one even knows of anything he looked into? I would not be surprised if the story of Sun God Nika, if the Sun God Nika is a subject matter so taboo that CP0 themselves says, well, he has information that's extremely dangerous to the world government. If he goes spouting out his mouth, we need to silence him. I wouldn't be surprised if the Sun God Nika story is something kept under wraps. Or maybe Who's Who knows something even more. Shanks is and another thing, Shanks talking to Goro say is interesting. He said that he wanted to talk about the certain pirate. It's going to be Blackbeard or Luffy. We didn't get a confirmation on that. But for Shanks to have the pull to slip into literally, quite possibly, other than Impel Down, one of the most well-guarded places in all of One Piece. Literally what you call the holiest of holies, if you were one of the celestial dragons, in Marie Joie, and not only appear there, but also speak to their top people, and for the top people to treat them with enough respect to send out all the guards just so the Shanks could speak with them, and then slip out so effortlessly? Oh yeah, Shanks is mysterious. He ain't that cabin boy that rolled with the Roger Pirates when we were watching all those flashbacks. The dude got some serious pull. And the dude don't even go out of his way to be like a malicious pirate or anything. Like, if you mess with him, you end up like Kid. But other than that, he doesn't go out of his way just to wreak havoc or anything. He's just cool chilling with his crewmates. That makes him even more mysterious. He is content just chilling with his crewmates until something of monumental value or monumental impact happens. That's when Shanks moves. Another thing, Shanks is a very mysterious character, yes. Also, why would the world government not give a higher bounty to Luffy when he has the Gum Gum fruit? Maybe it's not that special, or maybe they want to keep it secret or quiet. I stick to my theory. Joy Boy has the ability to manipulate the destiny and reincarnation in some way, and he will always get his Gum Gum Devil Fruit. I don't know about... I don't know... Like Kohagen, I said this before, but I just don't feel like people manipulating destiny and having whole reincarnations and everything. I mean, we've seen this... I mean, you might be still thinking of Shaman King a little bit, because you told me that you thought of Shaman King when you had this... idea during my last reaction stream. But I feel like with people being able to manipulate destiny and have reincarnation, that kind of goes against the whole concept of people just purely believing in fate itself. If you have people who are able to manipulate destiny and what have you, it just feels like, well, the whole because fate, luck, and will are a running theme in this story. But when you have people who are possibly able to manipulate destiny and thus fate itself of individuals and reincarnations and everything, it just feels like, I don't know. It just feels like a bit much. This One Piece does not need people with the ability to manipulate destiny itself. And reincarnation, like, I understand if people see like the will of other people in other people. I understand that, like the will of D and Roger's will and stuff like that. I understand that, but reincarnation as that whole aspect of manipulating destiny, it just doesn't feel One Piece. As crazy as One Piece is, manipulating fate and destiny and reincarnation just does not seem too One Piece like. Now, granted, the whole aspect of there being merfolk who are pretty much the reincarnation of Poseidon, I can understand that. But not to the effects of reincarnation just being something that happens to like big names like Joy Boy and things like that. I don't know how I feel about destiny being manipulated in a story like One Piece, where people really just wait for fate to decide things. Because when you introduce fate manipulation, then it's like, where was this type of thing beforehand? When you think about it, like, here's the thing, we're so knee deep into One Piece right now that introducing the ability for people's fates and destinies to be manipulated, or any ability like that, it just feels too much to me. It just feels too much. Because then you're going to be wondering, well, where was this person going on all this time? Like, if they have this ability or whatever. It just feels like too much. The ability to manipulate destiny and fate and reincarnation. Reincarnation is kind of okay in One Piece. It's kind of okay. You just can't overdo it. But manipulating fate and destiny, it just seems too much. Especially if you link it to Joy Boy and some people see Luffy being the reincarnation or the next Joy Boy, and then you give Luffy the ability to manipulate fates and stuff like that. Luffy wouldn't like that power, because Luffy lives in the moment. He lives for right now. He doesn't care about, like, well, we'll just have to see what destiny decides. He's never thought like that. And Luffy getting an ability that allows him to manipulate destiny and stuff like that, that's something that I honestly feel that Luffy would not want. That type of power, because he just like, I'm just here for the adventure. Whatever happens, happens. That doesn't sound like someone who could suddenly get the ability to manipulate destiny, and then he just has to think about, well, if this happens, then we're going to have to move this way in order to make this happen. Luffy just lives for the now. So when you introduce a whole aspect of destiny manipulation, it just becomes too much. Oda just gives us more. Let me just see what all you said. I have no idea what any of this means, but yet here I am. Yeah, not Mitchell. If you haven't been keeping up with One Piece, a lot has been happening. Every time we get one answer to something, we always get 2 new questions, if you get what I mean. Karma, you ain't ever lying. You ain't kidding. Every time Oda answers our questions, it just opens up more questions. It's like we find out that I'm talking about partially controlling fate, destiny, and reincarnation. Like, he doesn't remember previous life, but he has some kind of instinct to fix something. I don't like that aspect. I'm not a big fan of that. Being able to control fate, destiny, and reincarnation, that just seems too much. That just seems too much for One Piece, and this is One Piece. And that seems like too much. I just don't like that idea. I can't say that I agree with that in any way, shape, or form. Because it just seems like a whole bunch of extra that just does not need to be there. Because if you think about it, fate and people just rolling with it, that's something that happens in One Piece. People have to deal with the hands that are dealt to them. That is something that happens in One Piece all the time. So when you enter in partially, it doesn't even matter. Control or partial control is still the same thing. you're introducing a concept that goes against the whole concept of One Piece and people just having to deal with the consequences of things. Because when you start introducing things like, well, we need to partially control fate and destiny and reincarnation, it's like too much extra. It's just too much. It's too much. But like Karma said, every single time Oda gives us new things that are answered, it just causes more questions. Because as soon as we find out who stole the Gum Gum fruit, we now have to wonder about, well, who's this sun god Nika that he's talking about now? Like, it's every question that gets answered in One Piece opens up a brand new question, and it leaves us. And the fact that we're going on break just means that we're going to have to endure an entire extra week of wondering who this sun god Nika is, what his relevance to the story is, and how it impacts the narrative going forward. Like, I'm sure we can come up with a whole bunch of theories, but at the end of the day, Oda just leaves us with even more questions. Which is why I enjoy One Piece, because it leaves me wanting to know more, because let me tell you, all day yesterday going into Friday, because you know the early scans pop up on Friday, so I made sure that I don't see any posts on Twitter. I made sure that I completely muted One Piece as a whole, because people will talk about it on my feed if I'm not careful. But I muted One Piece as a whole, and I'm just sitting here wondering, please let us find out more about the Gum Gum fruit. Now, mind you, we didn't find out why the Gum Gum fruit was being transported on the world government, but we did find out officially who was the one who took it. Shanks was. As for why, we don't know. We also got new questions about Shanks. Exactly, why did Shanks take the Gum Gum fruit? Does he know about the Gum Gum fruit? Of what significance is the Gum Gum fruit enough for Shanks to straight up steal, from a world government ship protected by CP9 no less? Which means that Shanks took on Who's Who was said to have the same potential as Rob Lucci, and walked away unscathed. Shanks took on the world government with CP9 escorting them, and he got away. You don't see no scars on Lucky Roo. You don't see no scars on Shanks, save for the 3 that's across his face, but Teach was the one who gave that to him. It just makes you wonder, 12 years ago, before Luffy even got his Devil Fruit, Shanks was just owning the world government already. The days when the really important stuff gets revealed will be glorious. It really is ridiculous how something like Who's Who being slightly referenced all the way back in 2005. Now, the chapter 421 was officially published in the year 2005. The fact that Who's Who was referenced literally 16 years ago, but we didn't have any idea who Lucci was talking about until the last chapter. It just shows you that Oda knows exactly what he's doing. Which is why I love to read his work so much. It's just like, Oda knows exactly how One Piece is going to end. He's just leaving breadcrumbs for us to follow every Sunday or every other Sunday when we go on break, until we get to the big old gingerbread house that is the ending of One Piece. And I can say that us following this breadcrumb trail, it's literally us starting from the moon and then moving 1 inch per breadcrumb going back to Earth. That's how far the distance is I feel One Piece is from ending. Just good lord. I read the scan. Okay, well, you say you read the scans, but you have no patience to wait till Sunday, but I like to read the official stuff too. Understandable. I read the official ones because, reading from other sites, I like to support the official release as well, which is why I buy the volumes as well, because I kind of understand why other sites that I used to read too early, but I'm more comfortable reading when they're officially published. Here now. Is Oda a character or the author? Oda, Eiichiro Oda is the name of the author of One Piece. He's been doing this since 1992 or 1997. The anime started in 1999, but he's been doing this since 1992 or 7, either one of those things. He's been doing this for decades now, over 20 years. One Piece better not end in 5 years. That's way too short. Oda already knows the ending of One Piece, and he said that he will not change it. Oda is insane. Here's one thing I love about Oda as well, is that he does not compromise his storyline for like real world politics or anything foolish like that. Oda sticks to his guns, and that is why I respect him, because far too much nowadays we have media that kowtows to certain politics or demographics that feel like they can instruct people. Like, say for instance, America is very, very bad for this. They are horrendously bad for this, where for some odd reason America seems to think that we can dictate to other countries what they should do with their own art or what they should do with their own media. Women in anime don't, women in real life don't look like this in anime. Here, let me fix your picture. And you see the articles. You see the people trying to get on Twitter and say, let me fix your picture of how women actually should look, as if we know better. That's the reason. And yet, despite how people will go out of their way to besmirch Oda and say like, man, I don't like his art style. Women don't look realistic in that way. I mean, have you seen some of the women who get plastic surgery here in America? They have their own TV shows. We don't get to talk about unrealistic looking women. But what I love about Oda is the fact that he does not compromise anything he does in his story for the sake of real world politics or real world news or anything, and just to prove a point or try to be like a, social justice warrior or something like that for his story. That is why I have a massive amount of respect for Oda, because he does not compromise his integrity just to please other people. He has a story in mind, he's gonna tell it, and he frankly does not give a crap if you do not like it. Which is why I respect the man even more. I respect any author or any content creator that does not compromise their integrity, either to make a quick buck, either to get on the good side of people just because they don't want to be blacklisted and treated a certain type of way. I prefer people who stick to their guns, don't compromise their beliefs, and don't compromise their beliefs in what is right, and don't let people dictate how they should do things. Or if you're a content creator or an artist, they don't compromise their own works just to please a certain demographic or social justice topic point. That is why I respect Oda. And I'm glad that he's sticking with his guns when it comes to his story. And Horikoshi as well, the author of My Hero Academia. I love stories and manga that tell a story and they don't delve into real world politics or anything dumb like that frankly has gotten a lot out of hand, and they just stick to their guns and they just let it go. There's a reason why manga is doing better than American comics right now, because American comics is just like, well, we have to please this demographic right here, and then we have to please this demographic right here. Doesn't matter if it makes sense, it just has to sell. Let's appeal to all the black people over here. Let's make up this character. We gotta appeal to them. And then you make token characters, and it's like, well, you're not making this for this character. You're making it just because you want to please a certain demographic in the real world. It's like, it's just random stuff like that. I know I'm going on a whole big tangent. I'm about to end the stream right here. But I just feel like manga does not care what America thinks of it. And I respect them for it. Because America, newsflash, we don't know what's best for everyone outside of our country. And we have to be complete idiots to think that we can tell other countries how they should do media. As if we know. I wonder what character in One Piece Oda would be. He'd probably be Panda Man, because Panda Man is always in the most influential of places, and he shows up everywhere. Woke is a dish best served broke. I mean, look at the Batwoman TV series. Good God. The only way I can watch that show is if I'm listening to Jay Longbone, or the EFAP crew talk about it. That's the only way I know of that show and the story, and it just gets dumber and dumber every single episode. Twitter's comment for this. This is why now the top 20 comics are now manga. See, manga's taken the world by storm in terms of paperback comic book style reading for people. Because when you get to American comics, it's all like, well, we gotta have token characters and we gotta have dumb series like this. Not everything American comics is dumb. Because you have series like the Immortal Hulk series. That's good. We have the Venom series. That's good. But when it starts to get SJW like, that's when you really lose people. But that's just my whole stint. Sorry. I mean, you guys can skip ahead of this. For people who are watching this as a video, once the stream is over, you can skip ahead everything that I just said if it doesn't resonate with you. But I just had to speak my mind here of why I prefer manga to comics, to American comics. Because manga don't care. They put what they want. And they don't care how anyone feels. There's a reason why people like Berserk. Because it's dark and gritty. And it holds no punches. But it also tells a great story about perseverance, the force of will to live, and the love for other people. And despite how dark things may get, you continue on. Despite the circumstances. Berserk is a phenomenal story. But that's my spill. I know I went off topic. I am so sorry. I know I've went off topic. It's just something that that's just something I went that's just something that I just had to get out there because I see it all the time about people in comics talking about how bad manga is or how manga isn't realistic or they don't understand why manga is so popular. It's because manga don't care. They put out what they want. People have much more respect for people who stick to their guns and don't compromise their integrity or what they believe in a series that they make over people who are just saying, well, let's just please this bunch of people over here just to make them feel included. That's why manga is winning the whole comic book race right now. But I'm done with my rant. This was a great chapter. We found out that Shanks was the one who took the gum fruit. We find out about a story called about the sun god Nika, which is probably going to come into some significance. But I guess we're going to have to find out later. And hopefully, I wonder if they updated Jinbei's page to find out about his techniques, like the demon breakfast. I really hope we find out what that's actually called. We still don't have it on here. Dang it, I wanted to find Demon Breakfast, but oh well. It's fine. Alright, let me go ahead and end it here. Wow, I continued on for a whole hour. My bad. What do I think of the My Hero Academia shippers? Like, people that, they ship people? Like Midoriya and Uraraka? Or, Mina, Ashido, and Kirishima? Or like Yaoyorozu and Todoroki? Stuff like that? I don't really have like a big opinion. I don't really have like a big opinion on it. To be quite honest with you, like I don't get into the whole shippers thing, so that's never been my thing. I mean, I'll see people interact with each other within a manga, but I'm not gonna say like, oh, I ship those two. I don't really get off into that. I mean, I'm sure people do. There's plenty of fan art of it. There's plenty of videos on YouTube dedicated to it, but I just don't I don't get off into shipping characters with one another. Have you seen what they've done with She-Hulk lately? Yeah, they've written her. Nah, the weird one. Oh, you mean the weird ones like Deku and Bakugo? It's a prime reason of why that example right there is a prime reason of why I don't get into shippers, because then they start to get ridiculous and then just say like, well, let's just have Deku and Bakugo get together, or Deku and Todoroki get together. It's like, but would they do that? Don't just try and ship people just because you think it'll be a humorous topic to go with. Make it make sense. But like I said, I don't get into the whole shippers thing because it just feels like a whole bunch of unnecessary extra in the hopes that somehow it finds its way into the series. I mean, it's just my opinion. I mean, that's how Korra and Masami got together in The Legend of Korra, because people kept talking about it and kept pairing them together. Like Raylos from Star Wars. What are my thoughts about the upcoming Netflix He-Man series? Oh, it looks amazing. I might watch it. I may very well watch it. Yaoi shippers are the most extreme and ridiculous. Hey, I'm not gonna say anything because you never know if there's a shipper here just watching my video right now. My entire take on the whole shippers things is I don't get off into it. I don't, unless the manga itself confirms it. I ain't gonna say nothing about it. But I'm done. I am done. Also, Cohagen not Cohagen, but CJ, have you heard that Disney and Star Wars are doing like animated anime shorts called Star Wars Visions, where it's gonna be like anime style Jedi fighting and different stories animated in anime style, like officially. That's gonna be coming either this year or the next. Just keep an eye out for that. But I'm done. I am done. I really do hope you all enjoyed yourself. I continued for way too long because I need to go ahead and get started with recording my episode reaction of One Piece, and then I pretty much got the rest of the day to myself. I heard they want to remove He-Man and let his girlfriend take the lead, so it's not He-Man then. They can't call it He-Man if He-Man is not in there. That makes absolutely no sense. That would be stupid. I'm excited for Franky versus Sasaki, and also Robin and Brooke versus Black Maria. It's going to be insane and amazing. I wonder how they're going to do the Black Maria fight, because Black Maria is fighting topless. Let's not forget that. Short stream today? I don't consider it short. I consider it short if I'm under an hour. But, next chapter should be Franky versus Sasaki, or Robin and Brooke versus Black Maria, or other stuff. I really hope we tie up all the loose ends with the Toby Robo so we can finally focus on what truly matters, the end of the Onigashima battle, and then we move on and continue on from there. Also, here's something that we really haven't come back to. Who's the individual who was healing Kinemon and the rest of the Scabbards? Where are they? Where's that individual? There was someone in there when they were getting healed. Where are they at? And I'm gonna leave y'all with that. So with that being said, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed what you saw here today, then consider subscribing, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples.